I think this might actually be real, guys. Might. Let's talk about it. So here we are, just a few days after my recent The Day Before video where I talked about how anxious I was to see what these guys had to show us at the NVIDIA CES event. Now all we ended up getting here was just a short little 60-second teaser showing off the game. We also got another video published by the developers themselves, FNTASTIC, but we'll talk about that towards the end of the video. Right now, I want to talk about some of the information that we can pull from the teaser that we got at the NVIDIA CES event today. The biggest thing that stood out to me was the first-person perspective that we see. We actually see a player aim down sights in a first-person perspective and take out some zombies. I thought this game was exclusively a third-person game, so seeing this accessibility option actually has me really excited. I think it really opens up the opportunity for players to come in and enjoy the game as they please. Now, I personally love a good third-person shooter, but I know that there's a lot of gamers out there that whenever they hear third-person, they're just immediately turned off. So I hope this actually entices more people to come in and jump in, and I also actually love having the opportunity to aim down sights in a first-person perspective in a third-person game. Now, that's pretty much all of the information I was able to pull from the NVIDIA CES teaser that we got. Aside from that, the game looks beautiful. Like I said in my last video, every time these guys come out and make an announcement or a reveal about The Day Before, I'm always left scratching my head. It always feels like we're given way too little of information for the amount of footage that we're shown. I will say that everything that we're shown as far as visually, it always looks really impressive and incredible, but we're just never given enough information to go on. And I think that opens the door for players to come in and create these wild expectations about what the game is actually going to play like, when in reality, we have no idea what the gameplay loop actually is. I'm not at all a fan of the marketing strategy, but it does work. This game is the second highest wishlisted game on Steam for a reason, and I think part of that is that they're just leaving the door open for these players to make these crazy expectations for the game. And on top of that, all of the footage that they've shown us of the game actually does look really good. It's a head scratcher for sure. Now, the other video that we got was actually published from the developers themselves, FNTASTIC. On Twitter, they promoted this video as a look at how they developed the game The Day Before. What it actually turned out being was entirely about how they developed this game remotely from people all around the world using this meetup app called Continent. Now, there's a lot of weirdness to this video, and we'll talk about it towards the end of the video, but I wanted to talk about some of the awesome things that we actually did see in this video, and that's the little tidbits of gameplay that they do show. But just like every other reveal or announcement, they actually don't talk about the game at all. In this video though, we actually see a character creation panel, and it actually looks pretty good for how early the game might be. We don't know when any of this footage was taken, or how early of a build that this game was whenever they were showing this gameplay, so we're just going to take everything with a grain of salt for now, but it actually does look pretty good. I do think it could use a lot more options, but maybe these are just items that players start with, and as you play the game and progress, you can unlock more customizable apparel as you go. That would be really sick. The second cool thing that we see is some kind of a gunsmith. Now we're looking at a rifle with about 5 attachments on it, things like a muzzle, grip, sight, magazine, stock. I think that's a really good amount of attachments. You see a lot of similar games, even like Call of Duty, doing just about the same amount of attachments. So to see that from such a small unknown studio is actually really cool. Another thing that we see here is actually weapon stats. Now, one thing I would like to see change between now and release is some actual numbers here at stats, and actually one more stat that is a major one that's missing. We see power, distance, sustainability, and fire rate, but I don't see an accuracy stat here. I think that needs to be added. Secondly, I would love to see actual numbers and percentages here when looking at weapon stats. I think it really helps me dial down what exactly is happening whenever I'm making these changes to a weapon in terms of swapping out attachments. But who knows, this game might not have any competitiveness to it at all, so seeing those really fine details might not actually matter that much. Now, moving on to the weirdness of this video, the entire thing was about how they remotely work on this game from around the world using a meetup app called Continent. What's even weirder is that FNTASTIC developed this app themselves. And 8 weeks before launch, instead of releasing a video talking about the game that they're actually making, they release a lifestyle video promoting this meetup app that they made. I always thought it was weird in the past that they would make an announcement and promote their game Prop Night, and then I would always scratch my head thinking, is this actually just a promo for their other products? And seeing something like this so close to launch makes me even more worried. Now, I do actually like remote dev work. I think it can work, and I think it can help a studio actually diversify their skill set easily, but what does have me worried is seeing remote work with such a small studio. It has me worried about the mismanagement that could happen. I don't know, maybe it's easier with a smaller team, but who knows? I've never heard of this studio before they announced the day before, so we'll just have to wait and see how this game turns out. But in the end, I do find it really strange that this close to release, they're not actually talking about the game, they're just talking about their other products. So this is a huge red flag for me, but I'm still really anxious and really excited for this game. I hope it turns out to be everything and more, but until then, we'll just have to wait and see. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually get another delay, because 8 weeks is not that long away at all. But until then, I wanted to thank you guys for watching. I will be posting updates on this game as we get them, if we get them, but in the meantime, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.